Now, this is the 13th budget that I've worked on, state budget that I've worked on. And each year, it's a struggle and a battle to make sure that we get the proper funding that we need, especially in my district in Western New York, in the rural areas. And it seems to always be a disparity with the money going down to New York City and the wealthier metropolitan areas. So we here in Western New York, and not just myself, but my other colleagues that represent this area, fight very hard to make sure that we get our fair share. We knew this was going to be a difficult year. Everybody's seen it. They've seen it in their businesses. They've read about it in the papers. We all know what happened 2-3 years ago with the stock market. And we have a $10 billion deficit in our state budget. So we knew we were going to have to cut back, and we knew these were going to be difficult times. But when I saw what we call our school runs that I sent out to all my administrators, my superintendents, I was shocked and appalled. Because if you'll take a look at this chart, what I saw was a complete disparity in the cuts compared to upstate and Western New York and downstate in the metropolitan areas, Nassau, Westchester, some of the more affluent areas. And it begs the question, why would there be such dramatic cuts to small rural areas of Western New York as opposed to the wealthier districts that can afford a heavier tax base as opposed to us? And you know, I haven't gotten any answers to my questions. But I have to wonder, is it political? Is it because this is a more conservative area of the state, and because we had a choice in who we wanted to support for governor, and overwhelmingly we did not support I almost said Mario Cuomo, but Andrew Cuomo. And I mean, if you look at the cuts, and I call Wyoming County here ground zero, because of all the counties throughout the state, we suffered the greatest hit, the greatest loss, over $1,900 per student. And then you look at Genesee, and you look at some of the other areas, Livingston. If you look where the largest cuts are, they're predominantly out here in Western New York, and as you get down into the metropolitan areas, Westchester, Nassau, Suffolk, New York City, Rockland, Putnam, some of those wealthier areas, the cuts are minimal compared to ours. All we're asking, and all we want, is a level playing field. We understand that there needs to be cuts, but we want to see some fairness, and we want to see some equity. And that's why we're gathered here today, and that's why we're speaking out. Not because we don't understand that we all have to tighten our belts a little bit and suffer a little bit so that we can pull the state out of economic dire straits that it's in. But what we're protesting and what we're here for is because there's complete inequity in the cuts that are taking place. And we're being targeted, rural New York State is being targeted. For what reason, I don't know. It just begs the question, why? And the only solution that I can come to is that we're seeing this disparity again between upstate and downstate. So I think that we need to speak out in a strong voice. Our kids deserve the same quality of education as every other child in this state. No more, no less. Equality, quality. We don't offer Mandarin Chinese in our school districts, but I'll tell you what, some of those school districts do. We just want to give our kids a quality, basic education and have the means to do it, and we want Albany to listen to us.